Okay, so today we are going deep on leadership.
Oh, cool.
We've got this fascinating conversation between a real expert in the field and a podcast host.
Okay.
And I think you'll agree they really get to the heart of what it takes to lead effectively.
Yeah, and they don't sugarcoat anything.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Right.
The expert just comes out and says empathy, it's the defining trait of a great leader.
Hmm.
And at first I was like,
Really?
yeah, because you hear that word empathy thrown around a lot, but
Yeah.
they explained it in a way that really clicked for me.
Oh, how so?
Well, they went beyond just, feeling sorry for someone.
Right.
They talked about it as this deep understanding of your team's needs and motivations.
Oh, I see. Like really putting yourself in their shoes.
Exactly. And that's when it hit me.
Hmm.
When you can actually see things from their perspective, that's when you can truly connect and motivate.
It makes sense.
And then they told this story
Oh, yeah.
about this team member they had, Sarah, who was really struggling, like not meeting deadlines, kind of withdrawn.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. And the expert said, most leaders would have just
Written her off.
pushed her harder. Yeah, but this leader did something totally different.
What did they do?
They sat down with Sarah and really listened, like truly listened to what was going on.
Hmm.
And it turned out she was dealing with some personal stuff, and the leader offered her some flexibility, some support.
Wow.
And guess what? Sarah ended up becoming one of the most reliable people on the team.
That's amazing.
It's like proof that sometimes the best leadership move is just to,
The human.
to show some empathy, to understand where someone's coming from.
And I bet a lot of us are missing those opportunities because we're too busy trying to fix things instead of just listening.
Ugh, that's so true.
So how do we get better at this?
Well, the expert had some pretty practical tips.
Oh, good. I was hoping you'd ask.
One that stuck with me was active listening.
Active listening, huh?
Yeah, and they emphasize it's not just about nodding your head and saying, uh-huh.
So it's more than that.
Way more. It's about actually focusing on the other person, putting your own thoughts aside, and resisting the urge to interrupt.
That's harder than it sounds.
It really is.
Especially in today's world, right?
We're so used to multitasking,
Yeah.
always thinking about the next thing.
Exactly.
But active listening requires us to slow down and really be present.
Even our body language can betray us.
Oh, totally.
Like if you're checking your phone or fidgeting, the other person can sense that you're not fully engaged.
Yeah, I'm so guilty of that sometimes.
We all are.
We think we're being subtle, but those little cues speak volumes.
Absolutely. So active listening, check.
Check. Okay, this one was really interesting, asking open-ended questions.
Okay, give me an example.
So instead of saying, are you okay with this project?
Right.
You say, how do you feel about this project?
Oh, that's good.
It's like you're inviting them to share their thoughts and feelings, not just give a yes or no answer.
It shows you're actually interested in their perspective.
Exactly, and that builds trust and rapport, which are so crucial for any leader.
So we've got empathy, we've got active listening, open-ended questions.
Yeah.
What else did this leadership guru have up their sleeve?
Well, they talked about another essential trait, something they called a superpower, resilience.
Resilience, huh? Isn't that something you're either born with or you're not?
That's what I thought too. But the expert was adamant that resilience is a learned skill.
Interesting.
And to prove their point, they shared this story about leading a project that was basically a disaster from the start.
No.
Yeah, they were super honest about how they just wanted to give up.
I've been there.
Right. But what I found fascinating was how they turned that experience around.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, they didn't just power through, they actually changed their approach.
Oh, so it's not just about gritting your teeth and pushing forward.
Exactly. It's about being flexible, about adapting when things aren't working.
That makes sense.
And the expert broke down resilience into these three key elements.
I'm all ears.
First, you have to believe that setbacks are temporary. Like Winston Churchill said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right. It's a reminder that even when things fall apart, it's not the end of the story.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Second, you have to focus on the bigger picture. Because when you hit a roadblock, it's easy to get lost in the weeds.
Right.
But resilient leaders have that ability to zoom out and reconnect with their vision.
It's like having a compass to guide you, even when you're lost in the woods.
Exactly. And the third element is adaptability, being willing to change course when necessary.
So it's a combination of persistence, vision, and flexibility.
You got it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together, but how does resilience specifically connect back to leadership?
Well, as a leader, you're going to face challenges, setbacks, disappointments.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And your ability to bounce back from those setbacks, to learn from your mistakes, that's what inspires your team and ultimately leads to success.
So it's not just about being tough, it's about setting an example.
Exactly. An example of courage and determination, even when things get tough.
I like that.
And that brings us to another crucial point, but we're going to have to pause here for now.
Don't worry, we'll pick up right where we left off in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
Can't wait. So, picking up on that idea of resilience,
No.
the expert really emphasized this connection between resilience and,
Learning.
yeah, like leadership isn't about being perfect.
Right.
It's about constantly growing, learning from your experiences, even the tough ones.
And they were so open about their own mistakes.
Yeah, like they didn't pretend to have all the
It
answers.
was refreshing to hear someone at that level admit that.
Exactly. They said, we all make mistakes.
And those mistakes can be our greatest teachers. It's like that saying, you learn more from failure than success. But it's so hard to actually believe that when you're in the middle of it.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
But the expert really encouraged us to, approach leadership with kindness and courage.
I love that phrase, kindness and courage.
Kindness towards ourselves, recognizing we're all works in progress, encouraged to step outside our comfort zones.
And to take risks.
Exactly. Because that's how we grow.
And it makes me think about those practical tips we discussed earlier, like active listening, asking open-ended questions.
Right.
Those are all acts of kindness and courage, aren't they?
I think so.
Like, it takes courage to really listen without judgment and kindness to create a space where people feel safe to share openly.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, the more we lead with kindness and courage.
The more we foster those qualities in others.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's recap those key takeaways.
The idea.
Empathy, as we discussed, is essential.
The defining trait of a great leader.
It's about connecting with your team on a human level.
Right, not just seeing them as, like, robots or something.
And to cultivate empathy, remember active listening
Putting your phone away,
Yeah.
really focusing on the speaker.
and asking those open-ended questions.
How do you feel about this?
Yeah.
Not just, are you okay with this?
Exactly. Okay, and then we talked about resilience,
Bad superpower.
persistence, focusing on the bigger picture, and adaptability.
And it's a skill you can develop.
Not something you're born with.
And as the expert said, leadership is a journey of learning and growth.
Approach it with kindness and courage.
Embrace the ups and downs.
Now, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
Think back to a time when you were in a leadership position.
Any kind of leadership. At work, in a volunteer group, even within your family.
How did empathy and resilience play a role in that experience?
Did you actively listen?
Did you try to understand different perspectives?
And when you faced challenges, how did you respond?
Did you give up?
Or did you find a way to persevere?
This isn't about judging yourself.
It's about learning from your experiences.
And maybe doing things a little differently next time.
Because leadership is all about growth and improvement,
It's a journey.
not a destination.
And you don't need a fancy title to be a leader.
These qualities,
Mhm.
empathy, resilience, kindness, courage.
They're valuable in all areas of life.
So look for opportunities to practice them
You might be surprised at the impact you can have.
on yourself and on others. And that's what's so cool about all this, right? Like, it's not just some abstract leadership theory.
No, not at all.
It's practical stuff you can actually use.
In any area of your life.
Yeah, whether you're, leading a team at work.
Or coaching a sports team, or even just like navigating family stuff.
Exactly. And it reminds me that leadership isn't really about titles or positions.
No, it's not.
It's about how you show up,
How you treat people.
how you handle those tough situations
Yeah, it's about inspiring others.
through your actions,
Your word.
your commitment to being the best you can be.
And on that note,
Yeah. We want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into leadership.
it's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Absolutely. And we hope you've gained some valuable insights along the way.
Remember, lead with kindness, with courage.
And with that genuine desire to make a positive impact.
We can't wait to see what you achieve.
Until next time,
Keep diving deep.
keep questioning
Keep learning.
and keep leading.
See you on the next Deep Dive.